What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about if we'll ever get a SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom 2. Now, this is something that, I'll admit to you guys, I do have a problem when it comes to looking to the future when not even addressing the thing that's right in front of me. But with, obviously, a Battle for Bikini Bottom rehydrated out, I want to go over the idea of if there could be a second game. Where could they take this? Would it actually work? What would we need to do as an audience in order to get it? Really quickly, before I get started, though, I want to promote my second channel. I know I've done this with a couple SpongeBob videos in the past. I'm going to be making 1 or 2 SpongeBob videos on that channel as well. If you guys have not checked out that channel, I'll leave a link for it in the description below. It's very much the same as Podcast Now. It's just I do additional videos on different games, different movies, different topics all together. So if you guys haven't checked it out, it'll be in the description below. Now, when it comes to a Battle for Bikini Bottom, I think one thing, we talked about the review scores yesterday, not exactly the greatest start, right, obviously, to this game. I think, again, review scores do not mean, actually, in my opinion, they mean next to nothing. I know to a lot of people, though, they do mean something, right? So to start off with this game getting pretty much mediocre scores, definitely not the greatest thing in the world. I believe it's sitting now at a 66 on Metacritic, so it's gone up a little bit from the past one. But again, just like I actually said in that video, this game is made for the people that are going to enjoy it, okay? This is made for SpongeBob fans. This is made for people that played the original game. Nobody is going into this game. I saw people say that in the comments of that video. Nobody's going into this game with expectations, over the moon. People are going in expecting what they're expecting, but this is not a game of the year. This is not some, masterpiece of a, even from like a remake perspective, like remakes have been done very good. I think this game overall is very solid. It's very fun. It's fine for what it is. And again, like what we've always talked about when it comes to remakes, and I've said this for remakes, I've said this for remasters, part of the reason why you do this is to test out if it's possible to get more. Now, SpongeBob games in general, they've been all over the place, okay? Sometimes there's good games, sometimes there's bad games. It's been a while since we've gotten a SpongeBob game in general, but then a really good SpongeBob game. It's been a while, and obviously while a lot of people look at Battle for Bikini Bottom as one of, if not the best game, again, critically, it's never really matched up. However, again, this is no different, in my opinion, from other remakes, other remasters. And you see THQ, what they're doing with SpongeBob, they're doing the Destroy All Humans remake next month. It's really the same thing for that as well. I mean, I always thought there should be more Destroy All Human games. I don't know why they stopped doing them. I think it's just because of the different developers that these games kind of got handed off to. But specifically now for SpongeBob, I think it's possible. I really do think it's possible that we could get another game. This game needs to sell, I think, through the roof. I think a thing that is kind of, again, specifically talking about SpongeBob, what's special about it is it lasts. It's still around now. This show is very old, and obviously Battle for Bikini Bottom, and even they've talked about it, like when it was made and what it was made for. It's made for early SpongeBob, okay? It was made for around like season 2 of SpongeBob, like the golden era of SpongeBob. I don't know if we would ever see, I think we will, like later on SpongeBob obviously gets much worse than and it obviously it started really amazing. I like SpongeBob here and there, but in terms of the show, especially even like my daughter will watch it, so I'll see her watching it. I'll remember a ton of the classic episodes. Obviously, as it goes on to more of the more recent stuff, the more recent episodes, it generally drops in quality, right? They kind of go overboard with a lot of different things. But the game, I think what makes this game a special kind of thing is that it is in that original time, right? It's back when when SpongeBob first started. So if you were to actually make a second game, I think you'd still have to do it much the same way. You'd have to put it back in the beginning of SpongeBob. You don't want to do it now. And also, again, because it would be a direct kind of sequel to Battle for Bikini Bottom, you would need it to kind of match up. You don't want it to be like a vastly different looking game, you could say that, vastly different playing game. And again, as SpongeBob, the show evolves, and it does evolve. Whether it evolves in a bad way or a good way is up to you, but it does evolve. But you wouldn't want, I don't think, you wouldn't want that to happen for the game. I'm not saying, like, don't be creative and don't do different things, but, again, I think one of the main problems that people are finding with this game is it's old. If it still feels old, the level design, stuff like that still feels old, and ultimately that is sometimes what you get with remasters, with remakes is, if you're building it from the ground up, and they did talk about how they did actually change some level designs and they try to do things differently to actually like spice it up to make things different. Again, whether or not that worked is up to you. If you guys thought that it worked, then it worked. If you guys didn't think it worked, it didn't work. But let me give them the benefit of the doubt, or let me kind of defend them a little bit in if you didn't like it, or if anybody really thinks that the game feels old, feels stale, the level design feels old, it is basically still because the game is coming from something else. You know what I mean? And we've seen it time and time again with these remakes or remasters. The point is to see how many people still like it and to see if it's possible to get more of them. Now, the problem with SpongeBob is, again, it's going to go on forever. SpongeBob, the show, the show is probably not going to go on forever, but SpongeBob's going to live on for a very, very long time. And the thing is, you can obviously have different games, okay? And especially as we've seen in the past, 20 years with SpongeBob games, they've done a whole lot of different things. So asking for a Battle for Bikini Bottom 2, yes, we're asking for the best, what a lot of people would consider the best SpongeBob game, and to give us a sequel for that. I get that. It's not like, say, The Last of Us. The Last of Us Part 2 comes out, and really the question is, are we going to get a third game, or are we not? There's really no, they have 2 studios, so they're going to make a brand new game, but, pretty much it's like, well, they're either going to make a third Last of Us, the Neil Druckmann team, or they're not going to make it. You know what I mean? For SpongeBob, it's, well, can they make more SpongeBob? That's the first question. I think the answer, again, is yes. I don't even think the answer to that is dependent on how this game sells. I think the game's sales don't really matter in terms of will we make another SpongeBob game down the line. You know what I mean? So I think that is automatically safe. But then the second, so that's already question one, which a lot of other games don't have, or maybe games have that, but they don't have this one. Well, do you make a Battle for Bikini Bottom 2? Or do you make some other game 2? Or do you make just a brand new SpongeBob game again, like they've done so many times before? That's where the real, questions come in. I feel like there's obviously a reason. They could have picked a lot of SpongeBob games to remake, okay? They could have made actually a lot of them, but they picked this game for a reason. Now, again, did they pick this game because it was already popular and they're like, okay, well, we can kind of bank money-wise, like financially, off of a game that already sold well and we know people really like, so let's just remake this thing. Obviously, we're going to put effort. Like, we're not going to just, put this out without any effort being put into it. We're going to actually put effort into it. We're going to put it out there, and we're going to see how it does. Again, money does drive pretty much everything, so obviously money did affect this, but I hope what also did it was, hey, we would really like to see this franchise continue. And that's another thing you got to remember is this team, this Purple Lamp, I believe they're called, they've spent years now working on this game. And so they're invested just as much as the original makers of this game, where it's, okay, Battle for Bikini Bottom almost, you know it better than anybody. Maybe not every single person, but you know it better than the vast majority of people out there. So if anybody was going to make a second game or a game that's like it, it would be them. You know what I mean? So that is something you have to think about too with the developers, is where do they go next? Do they just get handed another remake to do? Do they get handed a remaster? Do they get handed a brand new game? Or do they have the ability to say, hey, we just made this game and people overall generally liked it and we learned a lot from it, right? We learned how to do this and that, and we really think we have a grasp of what SpongeBob is, or what this Battle for Bikini Bottom game is, and look, it's sold extremely well. People love it. People are questioning, can we get more of this kind of stuff? Can we make a brand new game? This is how things could definitely work, and I really hope they do. Again, I think the world, again, in the vast, a sea of games and everything, even on like what we cover on podcasts or what I cover here, it's like, okay, it's not the biggest thing in the world, but it can make money. It is fun. I'm enjoying it. It's fun to have a SpongeBob game like this that exists. You know what I mean? It's already been out. Obviously, it came out many, many years ago, but to see it back out again is really cool. That is just a really cool thing that I'm happy to see. So to be able to have more of it, I think there will. And hey, people, I've discovered a brand new gaming group of people on YouTube just for making these SpongeBob videos. People that watch these SpongeBob videos are new to the channel. They don't really, I've never seen some of you guys on other videos, so I know that you're specifically into it for SpongeBob. So the market is definitely there. There's no way this game doesn't sell well. Now, does it sell amazingly? I don't know. Like, it's going to sell 2, 3, 4 million units. I don't know. I also don't know what they would need to break even. I think with a game like this, also only being $30, it's only a $30 game, with it it being like this, you got to imagine it doesn't need to sell all that much. You know what I mean? And it's coming out on multiple consoles, multiple systems. So I think it stands a pretty good chance of being very financially successful. And then again, you look at that and you say, all right, do we make a brand new game? Do we make a remake? Do we make like another remake? Do we make a remake of another SpongeBob game? That's another thing you have to think about too. For this specific example, I want a Battle for Bikini Bottom 2. I don't want them to do the Crash route, which I love Crash. And for Crash, they chose games that were really, really good. So I guess they could do that for SpongeBob too, because there's more than just one good SpongeBob game. But for Crash, they have the Insane Trilogy, which was 3 Crash games. And then they obviously had, Nitro Refueled, the racing game, which was Team Racing. So they had, technically, they remade 4 Crash games in all. I guess the Insane Trilogy was technically 1 game. But they did that, and then they also had this brand new Crash Bandicoot 4 game in the works. Now, they had that in the works while they were doing some of the other stuff, but look what they did. They chose a couple different games to remake, and also, I don't even know if the remakes of Crash are over. I feel like they could still definitely do more remakes of this franchise. So they were they were still wondering, I would assume, do people like this, do people like that? Because who knows, maybe a brand new Team Racing game would be the next Crash game. You know what I mean? So for SpongeBob, why did I say that? The comparison there is, well, do they say, okay, the game did well, let's see if another SpongeBob games remake would do well. And then if those two do well, then we can consider making a brand new game. Or maybe this team that's making Battle for Bikini Bottom, maybe they go on to make a second game, and they have and THQ Nordic makes another studio remake another SpongeBob game in the meantime. You know what I mean? It'll be interesting. I mean, that would literally be what Crash did. Actually, the team that made this new Crash game didn't make the Insane Trilogy, but it'll be interesting to see if they almost follow the same footsteps. I mean, they're both remakes of classic games of a franchise that's been around for a long time. Obviously, a little bit different with Crash being so connected to Sony, SpongeBob obviously just being Nickelodeon. So we'll have to see how it plays out, but I think it's likely. I think it's absolutely, I think it's almost guaranteed that we get more SpongeBob games. I think the likelihood of getting other games remade would also kind of be high, but I also hope out there that Battle for Bikini Bottom 2 is at least being thought of, and maybe one day we'll get it. So, guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think we'll get a second Battle for Bikini Bottom game? Do you think we'll get another SpongeBob remake? What do you think is next for the SpongeBob franchise in gaming? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And again, I know a lot of you guys are new to the channel. I know a lot of you guys may not like the other videos that I do, but I really do appreciate you guys watching. If you want to check out other videos, I talk about so many different kinds of games, so many different kinds of movies. I'm sure there's something on the channel that'll grab you if this is like your first time watching. So I really do appreciate you guys watching. More SpongeBob stuff. Obviously, if anything happens SpongeBob related gaming wise, I will be covering it on this channel. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you all on the next video.